Onyx released the Go 7 Black and White and immediately followed it up with the Go 7 Color Gen 2. What's interesting about this is if you omit the color portion from the specifications, this device is a stamped copy of the Go 7, except with a color array filter that allows the screen to view colors. Now, back in 2019 to 2022, color was everything. It was all the rage. However, now there are over 100 devices that utilize Color EINK from Kaleido 1 through 3, so it has lost its appeal a little bit in terms of a selling point. But don't get us wrong, this device is still really good. We just have to dive in a little bit more. Looking at the screen, it's pretty much business as usual for Onyx. You have all of your quick keys down below, library, store, storage, apps, etc., settings. You have the little nav ball, which you can turn off and on. Now, I have noticed that something with Onyx on this latest line is that we experienced this on the Tab XC. We touched on that, both figuratively and literally, is the touch sensitivity is a little bit worse than the previous models. There are several instances you'll see throughout this video and the ones we've done in the past where it just doesn't seem as responsive and snappy as the other devices in their lineup. But either way, just keep that in mind. We have E-Ink Center, Rotate, Feedback, Navball, AI Assistant, FreeMark, which is basically taken from bigme, which is global handwriting, because there is a pen that has to do with this unit. And you have the pen that you have to synchronize. You have to brush this area to update the battery. Yes, the pen is pretty bad, and we'll get on that just in a second. And you have the glow light. Now, this is Kaleido, so you must have the glow light on. If you have the glow light off, it looks awful, and that's the same with every single manufacturer that is using Kaleido. You must have it on to really take the edge off and give yourself a little bit of vibrancy. You do have E-Ink Center, and this is what you are going to live and die by. Reason being, this makes your device faster. You have HD mode, speed mode, and A2, and certain other places will have a faster mode or a slower mode or a more compatible mode like Regal, etc. Depends on what you're doing. You have optimal, you have vivid for color controls, and you can go to custom as well. Clicking that, you have dark color enhancement, vividness enhancement, and color brightness. All of this will be absent on the Go 7. This is the Go 7 Color Gen 2, which means you have access to the color controls because the Go 7 is black and white. You have that top drop down as we showed you right there. If you drop the top, the other side, you have notifications and you have apps. Yes, this has Google Play, which is, you can't argue with it. I love it. We don't advocate for Google. We're not paid by Google, nothing like that, but Google Play is the best app store in the entire world because you have countless applications, you have countless books, countless audiobooks, games, apps, lifestyle things. There's just everything there. Millions and millions of things. And they give it to you. They give you Google Play, and they give you the infrastructure and the device itself to handle it. They give you the appropriate Android level and the appropriate amount of RAM and the speed modes to allow for more fluidity. So it's quite nice. So go here, you can download basically anything, which leads us over to books. Because if you go to books, you now have ebooks, manga, audiobooks, different genres, all that stuff, and it's all just going to be dependent on where you are. Furthermore, if you get out of this and you download Google Play Books, which is a separate app, it now gets all of your content under one roof. From here, you can start your reading. You can start your manga. You can start doing all of your ebook reading right here. So you see we have our highlights, our different color highlights, and we have this page turn animation as well. If you don't want that, again, click inside, open up E-Ink Center, and now you'll see you have some different settings. Regal popped up on ebooks, but it wasn't on the other part. When you turn pages, it's very slow and bleedy, but the end result looks very clean and crisp. You can balance this by going to other speed modes like HD, for example. When you go like this and you turn pages, it looks even worse, but this is a more visual approach than the other modes. If you go to A2 mode, this is going to be your speed mode. When you switch pages, look at that. That's really responsive now. You get a much quicker frame rate. You're able to see the the motion a lot better than the other modes, so that's what that one's for. If you click in the center, there's some ways to change your text. Now this is all going to depend on the app you're using. If you're using Aldeco or Moon Plus Reader or whatever, that's what it's going to depend on. This is Google Play Books, so it's going to look like this. You have some ways to change the font styles, the justification, the line spacing, the font, and you can go over to lighting and you can do reading brightness, and the theme you can make it sepia, whatever, or black and white mode, and you can turn on the reading light, etc. All of this is going to change based off of what you are using. Now you can use the volume keys. Yes, these are treated as volume keys because it is an Android device, as page turners. So you can now hold this in one hand and turn pages by tapping, swiping, or the page turn keys. The page turn keys, by the way, are quite clicky. They don't make a whole lot of noise, but it's a good amount of feedback. Now if we go back here, we can open up a Manga. Why Manga is beneficial on color devices is not that much of a reason, because only the cover art and maybe one or two kind of interruptive pages in between are going to be color. The rest of the device is going to just take advantage of the black and white, and that's bad. Reason being, the black and white is poor on a color device. It is hindered by the color array filter. So although we have this nice kind of fluid experience, this isn't going to look as good as the Go 7. It's going to be darker, it's just going to be more fuzzy, and again, if you look at this and you turn on that glow light, you're going to have a lot more vividness, so it's going to be colorful. But when you turn it off, it's just going to go back and just revert to being dark. Also, I think I like about Google Play Books is you have a double tap for the speech bubble, and it actually gives you a differently rendered speech bubble that pops up, and I think that's a really nice touch. Other than that, you can read it very well. You can use the page turn keys, and you can go bubble to bubble or page to page, so it's just going to depend on how you want to read it. Tapping in the center brings some text options, not a lot because there's no actual text on the page, and yes, I understand these are Japanese characters, but it's still going to be the same based off of where you live, and the content delivery is going to be based off of where you live as well. But overall, the reading experience and the manga experience is quite nice. Reason being, you can use Google Play Books, or you can download anything you want from Google Play. You can download all these different manga applications as you see fit. Let us go and look at the note-taking experience, because it's time to talk about the worst part of this device, the pen. This is a completely objective look at this because we're not paid or compensated or refunded, and we don't even get to keep the units. We send them back to Onyx and we send them to the next reviewer in their lineup. So this is completely impartial, and we have to say this is the worst thing about this unit. This is a pen that you have to charge. It only works on this, and this doesn't work on anything else. Furthermore, even if you grab old Onyx Wacom devices like the Onyx Air Pen, it doesn't work on here anymore because they aren't using Wacom, which means the Kindle pen, the Remarkable pen, all the pens you can no longer use on this unit. You have to use this one. It doesn't snap to the side. You have to sync it by connecting it to the unit. It just feels kind of dingy, and the tips are specific to this pen and this pen only. You can't use the cheap Wacom tips. The whole thing is a giant step back because they are alienating a very wide sub-genre of consumer electronics, in that e-paper devices go hand in hand with the different type of styli you can use. And now they have limited themselves to one singular pen or another pen from their lineup, which comes on the Max that also works, and potentially some crossover with other PC laptops, etc. But not the Quaderno, not the Remarkable, not the Kindle Scribe, nothing. So really, it is a massive step back. Furthermore, it doesn't feel good. It's completely slippery. There's no feedback. There's no reverberation. It loses all realism, and it just slides around on the page. This only benefits Onyx because they don't have to pay Wacom licensing. They went from EMR to just a regular active capacitive pen, and they called it a day. So although it's cheaper for them, it doesn't really benefit the consumer all that much because now you can't use any pens. However, that being said, you cannot doubt the abilities of this device when it comes to note-taking. It is the best. It has the most features by a wide margin, and I'm talking the next player falls short. This is insanity. The amount of colors you have, the amount of pens you have, the amount of control you have. Look, you're gonna fall over in your computer chair when you see this part. The shapes are the best part of this whole thing, is that if I wanted to create a cube out of red with an inconsistent dotted line and a mid-range line width, to actually make that on an e-paper e-note would take a very, very long time. I'm talking grabbing a pen, getting a straight edge, and trying to make it yourself is not feasible. But with Onyx, it's so good and instant and everything works. You can do vertice points, you can do arrows, you can do hemispheres, and all the colors correspond to all of those and all the lines correspond to all of those. So if I wanted to make a weird four-sided quadrilateral in blue, I can just draw it on the page like so. Again, the refresh and the responsiveness is a little bit lack on this device, but overall this palette does carry forward into more advanced devices like the Tab XC, etc. You have too many things here and we can't go over everything. It's just not possible. You have AI, you have text, you have recordings, you can insert various things, you can insert images, attachments, link to notes, hyperlinks, websites, timestamps. You even have more down here. You can add pages, zoom, gestures, share and export. I love share and export because once you've done your thing, you just click on the thing you want to share, click share, and from here you get even more features. I want to do a regular bitmap PDF. I want all layers, let's say visible, and we'll do a A3 size. Once you scroll down, you say share, and what it's going to do, it's going to go through all of your apps on your device. So whether you have Outlook or Gmail or whatever, you can then send it directly from the device using Wi-Fi, or you can print it. So this allows you to basically get your documents emailed to you. For example, you have a big document and it says sign here, and you do your little signature, you can immediately send it back off. You don't need to print it, sign it, scan it, stamp it, etc. So it's very instant and it's really accessible. And I like the layers, I like the backdrops, the templates. There's just everything about the approach, everything about the delivery of how well this works is unparalleled. Other companies, even as big as Amazon, fall off the deep end. It's just not even close when it comes to the amount of customization, feature-packed functionality that Onyx gives you, and it's a blanket approach. This will be the same as the Tab XC with minor alterations than it will be on the color version and the black and white version. It's so darn perfect. Now I'm going to go off script just a little bit and show you the real lifetime use of this kind of thing. So if you have it in your hands, this is what it's kind of looking like. If you ever put it in the symmetrical mode, aka landscape, it's going to have really tiny bezels, and that does give a lot of explanation as to why the bezels are so big, because there's nowhere to rest your hand. Whereas if you go like this, you now have quite a bit of room. There's a lot of clearance on the left side, so you can actually navigate like that. You have all of your apps here. If you don't want something, you can simply long press it and you can uninstall it. From there you can also manage, optimize, freeze it. You can do all that stuff with pretty much any app. You have your app management right here. If at any point in time you want to find something, you have your device storage. You'll see that there's stuff we side loaded in, and there's just all the usual areas that you would have in your PC or your phone or whatever, music, podcast, anything you've downloaded. And because this is a tablet first and foremost, you can go to the browser, you can go to any website, you can long press on something, you can write DOG, click on dog, you go over, you go to Google, you see some pictures of a dog, you press the dog, you long press on that, and you can download it, copy it, preview it, share it, go on your social media applications like WhatsApp and Facebook and Instagram and share it directly, upload it to your social media feed. It really is no different than a tablet in and of itself. It's just that the display screen itself is not LCD LED, it is e-paper. You have the refresh key at the bottom at any given time, and you have a store, but I always think of it as just a little bit of a pleasantry that Onyx gives you, because there's no real utility to having this store. You have Google Play, you have Google Play Books, you have Google Play, which means you can download Amazon and Kobo and all the other app stores in the game, so there's no reason to use this store. Also, it's just public domain stuff, so you're just gonna get William Shakespeare and Christmas Carol and stuff like that. There's not a whole lot of reason to have it, although it's nice that they hand it out to you. And of course, settings, you have all of your settings here, and it is too much to mention because they just simply have too much here, and anything you click on, it just keeps going over to more and more settings. You have store settings, you have smart button. Smart button is kind of nice because you can assign different things like short press, long press duration, and the orientation of the buttons themselves. So when it comes down to it, this thing is fully customizable for your use. You can really craft your own experience with a device like this that just gives you so much inherent function.
The Subaru Sandbar, one of the K-trucks in the world that's not technically real, as only Mitsubishi, Daihatsu, Suzuki, and Honda make K-cars. So what we have here is a rebadge, but what's interesting about this one in particular is there's only 24,000 kilometers on the odometer. However, when you see it, it's unmistakably a Subaru. The front end offers a very flat, soft, and subtle headlight package, really harking back to the 90s of Subaru.
Saying that this unit has color is not enough to sell it, at least not anymore. The fact is, Kaleido 3 alone has availability of over 50 devices that are currently purchasable. The omission of Wacom EMR is also a huge hindrance, as you no longer have choices of pens, you only have the one they give you. Although all things considered, apart from those faults, this device is exemplary. It's very much business as usual from Onyx, a fully loaded roster of specs and features, and with Google Play you're never going to miss a beat, as you instantly have millions upon millions of available applications at your fingertips. If you guys think we're completely off, or if you think this is the greatest invention since sliced bread, let us know down below. Thanks for watching.